Thank you, Professor Herman Manyora and Jadiel Kibiro, for giving us the opportunity to share our opinions, our views about the current political situation in the country, Kenya, and the upcoming general elections. My name is Deng. I am a South Sudanese living in Australia, but keenly following the activities, the political events happening in 5 countries on this planet. One of them, which is dear to my heart, is Kenya. Today, I will focus on my video on the who will win the elections. Not only the who, not the why, but how that person will win the election, and that how that person will lose the election. I personally think that William Ruto, one of my favorite politicians in Kenya, of course, when he joined politics in the early days. I met him in person in 2006. And from there, I had always admired the guy. He has such a smooth tongue that can toa nyoka pangoni. Lakini, he has lost the way. And this is what I'm basically going to have a look at, how he lost the election in 2018. What I mean is that 2022 election that is coming, William Ruto lost it in 2018. And now even if he does what and does what, he is playing a second fiddle. The reason why I believe that Ruto has already lost the election is that, for one, Ruto has made himself be branded as a corrupt, and he has actually played in the hands of those who want to make him be known as a corrupt. Look at the like of people he associated with. Look at Baba Yao. Look at Anwar Guru. Look at Rashida Sheza. Look at all those people who have been accused of corruption here and there. They always run to Ruto. Ruto also is carrying the baggage of his role in YK92 and how he supplied 1,000 shares for 10,000 consignment. He also carried the baggage of the Macy scandal during the Nusu Mkate government. So all those things, if you say today who is the most corrupt person in Kenya, Ruto is simply labeled as so. I don't believe that is true, but politically it works for those who are against Ruto. Second, Ruto is also very thin-skinned. Every time he's politically irritated, he would make a blunder. So the people who are against his leadership, his presidency, are simply using this thing to trigger him and make him emotional. Then he will do one blunder here and there, and they will capitalize on it. When things seem to cool down, they trigger him again. He make a blunder here, they capitalize on it, and he's burying himself in a pile of sand. This is not good for politics, for political move that I know Ruto could have made in 2018 to date. The other thing that is not good for his presidency is political transhumance, moving from ideology to ideology, ideology to ideology, just for the sake of being popular, does not give you confidence in the voters. What I mean is, look at how Tanga Tanga started in 2017 and 18. They started with the idea of, well, let me go back all the way to the Jubilee second round of elections. They were going with tumetoka digital to analog, tuketoka analog to digital. So they were hoping, mobilizing the youth to move from analog, which they branded Raila Odinga by then, to digital, which is the new norm. What happened? How do you move from analog to digital and then move from digital to wheelbarrow? How is that possible? What does that communicate about your political ideology? To me, that is one thing Ruto has lost the direction, or he has been misled. And then If you go just over the last 2 years, we have moved from, um, bottom up to to Pangwingwi, and that Hustler Nation is for the small people. But then there is a switch from Hustler Nation being for small people, and we're seeing the big people being the one Ruto is running after at the moment. He has also made a blunder by bringing in Musalia Mudavadi and Weta, the wrong time in which he has made that move. I personally think that Ruto is the one who is making himself lose the election. RAILA has capitalized on that because Ruto is making those blunders. At the moment, with or with no President Kenyatta, I think the election is set. Azimio is most likely going to carry the day. However, if we have anything that we've learned during the Hillary Clinton-Trump election, we know that sometime what happened on the election day does not correlate with what goes on a daily way. So I know one thing, one person who will not be a president in 2022 in Kenya is Ruto. But I cannot say that Raila will automatically be the president. If it is one-on-one with Ruto, they will carry the day on round one. But if you don't bring Kalonzo in, if you don't bring Mount Kenya Unity Forum in, these people have a chance of forming their own coalition and actually marshalling their own numbers to spoil it for Raila. And if they spoil it for Raila, there is high chances, let's say they become number one, Raila number two, and Ruto number three, or they become number one, or they become Raila become number one, Ruto they become number two, and Ruto number three. Chances are Ruto will join them in the bid to bury kuzika Raila kabisa, politically speaking.
Hi, I'm Atara Mokaya, and today I'd like to explain why I believe strongly, without any doubt, that it is Raila's time to be president. And today I'd like to ignore all the future plans and promises and just look at the recent history of Kenyan politics and break it down to show why there is no man better poised than Baba to become president. Through Raila's presidency, the tension and pressures that we have in this country will be quenched and die down in a sense, the day he will be announced as president. We all know that emotions have been high and the feelings of frustration and anger have been boiling in Kenyans' hearts ever since independence, because I know the joy that we had at independence was short-lived. We have had many close calls, but God has come through for us. And I really thank him for giving us level-headed and sane leaders. If we go back to independence, we know that the joy was short-lived. When the country was actually represented fully, we had Jomo Kenyatta as the president and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as the vice president. But their relationship turned sour because of reasons we cannot talk about today. And ever since, a lot of people in Kenya, a lot of tribes have felt marginalized ever since that time, 1964, I think. So, power in Kenya has been centralized between a certain clique, the Kanu elite, if I can call it. After Jomo Kenyatta's regime, we had Moi. After Moi's regime, we had Kibaki, who was part of the Moi's regime and KANU. And to an extent, we can also say Uhuru Kenyatta was part of that. The opposition, the real opposition, the Jaramogi Oginga Odingas, the Matibas, all these people never got to power. So I believe that's really what's affecting Kenya. And you can also see that if Ruto was to get the presidency, it will be a repeat of the same thing, because Ruto has been in power ever since he joined KANU in 1992 for the first multi-party elections for the youth for KANU. He has been in that group. So a real opposition has never gotten into power. So if Raila was to become president, all this tension that has been building up for over 50, 60 years almost would be quenched. People say that Raila is a state project, but Raila has been with the people. If we take a walk down memory lane back to 2007, when Raila became the official opposition leader after the controversial elections, Raila has been with the people. You know, he represents all the people from Nyanza, both Nyanzas. He represents a majority of people from Western. When you go to parts of Ukambani, you go to coast, parts of Rift Valley, you know, like the North and Masai Land until recently. He also represents some parts of Northeastern. So Raila, if in a sense, he's part of, like, you can say he's a people's candidate because he gets support from the whole country. Unlike other leaders, for example, even Ruto, I like him, but I mean, Uhuru, he got his votes from Mount Kenya. Uhuru did not get a majority of votes as Uhuru from the whole country. And that's why I believe Raila is a better candidate. He's a mobilizer. He comes from a minority, sort of minority clan. He's not the majority, but he still manages to capture people's imaginations throughout the country. And I believe if Raila was to become president, all the injustices and the tribalism that we have, you know, there was even the term that people used, 42 verse 1, which was very dangerous. It could bring Kenya to her knees. And we know that in 2013, we know what happened. He lost. I believe he lost. I only believe that 2007 was the only election that was maybe debatable. But 2013 he lost, but people still wanted him because they saw the sort of leadership that was there in the Jubilee regime was wanting. Then in 2017, when Raila lost again, it was really, really painful. And you know, we had that milestone decision made by Maraga, which was to nullify the election, the first one. And you could see that people are really frustrated. And that's why when Raila had no option but to swear himself in. And Uhuru also had no option, because I believe they got to that point and realized that this sort of events that are taking place are not sustainable. If we continue like this, Kenya could burst up and burn into flames. So after Raila saw himself in, we know that people believe that now Raila has been cooled, Raila will go home. But Raila is a man like no other, I can say. He reinvented himself, he's come back, and now Raila is coming to finish the job. You know, they say, don't start what you can't finish. And Raila is a fix-it man. He started this and he's going to finish it. So I believe when Raila becomes president, that even, let's say if it's artificial, the artificial sense of people saying that, yes, we finally gotten power after this long struggle, will really help this country. We can remember in 2017, 2018, when before Raila saw himself in with the likes of David Ndi, Joho, Joho was part of it, also Miguna, people were saying that this vehicle has reached its peak and that it's going down the hill. It's tinted, it has no reverse gear, and it has no brakes. And I want to make this declaration here today. Azimio la Umoja has no brakes, and it will do something that this country needs. It is the antidote that this country needs. And it's coming, and you cannot stop it, like a car with no brakes. Thank you.